My dear students, today we are going to learn about the gross anatomy of the tongue. At first, I will show you the tongue in the hemisection and then I will show you the viscera. And when needed, I can show the different surfaces of the tongue in my own body. Okay, let's start. Here in this hemisection, this is the tongue. Okay, it is the mobile muscular organ located partly in the oral cavity. Here this one is the oral cavity, and partly in the oropharynx. Here is the oropharynx. Actually it is situated in the oral cavity proper, because this total area is the oral cavity, and we know that oral cavity two parts. One is the vestibule. Here this slit like space is the vestibule that is bounded behind the teeth and the gum, and in front by the lips, and on either sides by the cheeks. Okay, so this is the vestibule. Actually when we brush our teeth by putting some paste in our finger, in which area we move our finger, that is the vestibule of the oral cavity. Okay, and here is the oral cavity proper. The floor of the oral cavity is totally occupied by the tongue. And just I want to show the bony landmark that in front of the tongue, here is the mandible or body of the mandible. Above, here is the palate. Anterior 2/3 is the hard palate, this one, and posterior 1/3 here is the soft palate. And below, there is the hyoid bone, and behind on his side the styloid process. And we have to remember this for the extrinsic muscle attachment, and we will learn it later. Now I want to show you the parts of the tongue. Here is the viscera of the tongue, pharynx and larynx, with associated glands, arches, epiglottis, okay, and some blood vessels also. Just look at here, it is our tongue, this one. It has three parts. One is the tip. Here, this one is the tip of the tongue. Then the root of the tongue. Actually, here is the root of the tongue, this region. If I show you in hemisection, then it is the tip of the tongue, and here is the root of the tongue, that is formed by the genioglossus and hyoglossus muscle. And in between the tip and the root of the tongue, this area is the body of the tongue. So here this portion is the body of the tongue. Okay, and tip directed forwards. There are two surfaces. One is the dorsal surface. This one is the dorsal surface or superior surface, and another one is the inferior surface or ventral surface. This one is the inferior surface or ventral surface. And if I show you from here, this one is the dorsal surface, and here this one is the inferior surface or ventral surface. Okay, at first we will learn the gross anatomy of the ventral or inferior surface of the tongue. My dear students, if I want to show you the ventral or inferior surface of the tongue, then there are two important structures at that place. One is the frenulum linguae, and another one is the deep lingual vein. Actually, the deep lingual vein are two in number, so we'll call it deep lingual veins. So let's see it now. You have to keep a mirror in front of you, and then you have to open your mouth and turn your tongue like this. Here, I have indicated it with my index finger of the right hand that the mucosal fold, that is the frenulum linguae. I am doing it again. Okay, this mucosal fold or frenulum linguae hold the tongue with the floor of the oral cavity. If the length of this frenulum linguae becomes shorter, then does the tongue come out like this? No, it will be tight with the floor of the mouth. Then the condition will be termed as the tongue tie. And if the length is too short, then it will be difficult for create any language or word during talking, because tongue is responsible for making the words. Okay. At the time, you have to cut the frenulum linguae to make the tongue free. Then again, look that there are two veins on each side of the frenulum linguae. These are the two deep lingual veins. Those are situated on each side of the frenulum linguae. And you have to deal with these deep lingual veins in many times in your practicing life. In the cardiac wards, you have to either put the nitroglycerin tablet in contact of these two veins sublingually in a cardiac patient for better absorption of the drug and prompt relief of the angina pectoris. Or nowadays you have to spray the drug on these two deep veins for prompt relief of pain in angina pectoris. And the inferior surface or the ventral surface is covered with a thin mucous membrane that will be continued with the mucous membrane of the floor of the oral cavity. Now come to the dorsal surface of the tongue. You are looking that dorsal surface is convex in nature and this convexity directed upward. When you hold the tongue in anatomical position, you have to face the dorsal surface upward and face the tip forward. Okay. Do you know that this dorsal surface of the tongue is divided into two parts by a V-shaped sulcus? The sulcus is situated here. I will show you later. These are the two limbs of the V. One limb, another limb. In front of the V or the sulcus, the area is the anterior two-third area, or it is also called the oral part or pre-sulcal part. Okay. And behind this sulcus, this area here is the posterior one-third area. Okay. Or the post-sulcal part or the pharyngeal part. So it is the oral part and here is the pharyngeal part. Now let's look at the sulcus. Here this one is the sulcus. It is the sulcus terminalis, V-shaped sulcus terminalis. And how shall I find that this one is the V-shaped sulcus terminalis? We will find it by finding the foramen. Here one foramen is present, this one. Okay, it is the foramen cecum and it is the apex of the sulcus terminalis, and this foramen cecum is the site of the origin of the embryonic hydroglossal duct. There is another way to find out this sulcus terminalis. We will read that after reading the papilla. What are the papilla? The mucosa of the tongue shows some projection called the lingual papillae. If I show you the tongue here, you can look that the surface is not so smooth. Okay, there are very tiny projections throughout the dorsal surface of the tongue. These are the papillae. There are four types of papillae. One is the filiform papillae. In the dorsal area there are too many projections. These are the filiform papillae over the dorsal area. How will you remember it? The filiform papillae, it is somehow connected with the word fill. That means the filiform fill the total dorsal surface. Okay. Another one is the fungiform papilla. This papilla is situated at the tip and the margin. Okay. And carry the taste bud. But this filiform papilla that is stated earlier, those do not carry any taste bud. Another papilla is the foliate papilla. Those are situated on the lateral near the sulcus terminalis, and they are situated as the mucosal fold, leaf-like. These are the foliate papilla. Okay, here this one. In this side, this one. They also carry the taste buds. And the another papilla, those are termed as valate or circumvallate papilla. Largest in size and 10 to 12 in number, situated in front of the sulcus terminalis. I can show you, I hope, some valate or circumvallate papilla. Here is one valate papilla, here is another valate papilla in front of the sulcus terminalis. Okay, here is another circumvallate papilla. Are you looking? 1, 2, 3 in this side, and on this side 1, 2, 3. Okay, so if you are asked to find out the sulcus terminalis, if you find the foramen cecum, okay, it's well and good, then you can find the apex, and then you will draw a line on each side that is the sulcus terminalis. And if you do not find this foramen cecum, then just look at this valate papillae. Okay, and just behind the valate papillae on each side, the line or the groove is the sulcus terminalis. Now come to the posterior 1/3. The posterior 1/3 of the tongue, it forms the anterior wall of the oropharynx. Here this portion is the oropharynx. Okay, just from below the soft palate, from here up to the level of the upper part of the epiglottis. This is small area, it is the oropharynx. So the posterior 1/3 of the tongue, it forms the anterior wall of the oropharynx. And the palatopharyngeal arches that will connect the tongue or base of the tongue or root of the tongue with the palate. Just look at this viscera. Here is the posterior 1/3 of the tongue and palate is situated in this region. Okay, I have cut the portion of the soft palate here. Now look that here is one arch and here is another arch. Okay, this arch is surrounding the pharyngeal area, oropharyngeal area. Okay, so these are the palatopharyngeal arches. Here is one palatopharyngeal arch and here is another palatopharyngeal arch. Clear? And here I want to show you another structure, that is the fleshy extension from the soft palate here that come down at the back of your throat. This is the uvula. Okay, here is the uvula. If you keep a mirror in front of you and open your mouth, then you can see this structure, the uvula. It works with the soft palate and prevents regurgitation of food from the oral cavity up to the nose. If we remove these palatopharyngeal arches and uvula, then we will see the folds that connect the tongue with the epiglottis. We will see it in another viscera. Here, just look at here. The palatopharyngeal arches are situated in this side and in that side. This one is the epiglottis. Okay, and there are the glossoepiglottic folds here. Here is the posterior 1/3 of the tongue, and here is one fold at the midline. This one, it is the median glossoepiglottic fold. Okay, and laterally here is the lateral glossoepiglottic fold, and on this side here it is another lateral glossoepiglottic fold. Okay, so one midline or median glossoepiglottic fold and two lateral glossoepiglottic folds connect the tongue with the epiglottis. If you are asked to show the glossoepiglottic fold, then you have to place your thumb finger and the index finger in this region here, and left side here. Okay, between the tongue and the epiglottis. Do not hold in this region. It is not the glossoepiglottic fold, it is the aryepiglottic fold. Here is the aryepiglottic fold. Okay, but in this region it is the glossoepiglottic fold. Okay. Now look another thing. The posterior 1/3, it is devoid of papilla. No papillae is situated here, but this area is uneven in nature, isn't it? Oh, it is the cobblestone appearance in the posterior 1/3 of the tongue. Why? Because of presence of the lymphoid follicle. These are the lingual tonsils. These are termed as the lingual tonsils. Okay, these lingual tonsils cannot feel directly in lymphadenopathy. It can be seen in indirect laryngoscopy. Okay, I can show you the vallicula also. Here, this area is the vallicula, the most posterior part of the tongue. Here, this one and this one. Okay, it is situated just behind the base of the tongue, in front of the epiglottis. Okay, it is also called the epiglottic vallicula. And the nerve supply from the anterior 2/3, from the posterior 1/3, and from the vallicula is different, as because these three parts, anterior 2/3, the posterior 1/3, and the vallicula, they develop from different branchial arches or different pharyngeal arches.